Hello friends, I had a long cherished dream of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'm very happy to say that I have finally started that today. And I thought, why not I actually make some small videos of my reading every day and post it for all of you who might not be able to acquire a copy of that or sit down and read every day, but probably will find it easy to listen to or view this 15-minute videos every day. With this intention, I'm going to start today's recording. So I am actually reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is published by Bhaktivedanta Book Trust and is actually authored, the commentary of it, of course, is authored by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who happens to be my Param Guru, which basically means my Guru's Guru. So I feel absolutely privileged and honored to do this, and I really hope a few of you will join me in taking the benefit of reading this amazing scripture, which is supposed to be the treasure house of all the knowledge there can be. So let's get started. I really thought when I started reading and I read a few paragraphs of introduction, I thought it was very important for all of us to start from there. So I will be doing that. So this introduction is written by the author, Swami A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So let's start reading. Introduction. The concept of God and the conception of absolute truth are not on the same level. The Srimad Bhagavatam hits on the target of the absolute truth. The conception of God indicates the controller, whereas the conception of the absolute truth indicates the summum bonum, or the ultimate source of all energies. There is no difference of opinion about the personal feature of God as the controller, because a controller cannot be impersonal. Of course, modern government, especially democratic government, is impersonal to some extent, but ultimately the chief executive head is a person, and the impersonal feature of government is subordinate to the personal feature. So without a doubt, whenever we refer to control over others, we must admit the existence of a personal feature. Because there are different controllers for different managerial positions, there may be many small gods. According to the Bhagavad-gita, any controller who has some specific extraordinary power is called a Vibhutimat Sattva, or controller empowered by the Lord. There are many Vibhutimat Sattvas, controllers or gods with various specific powers, but the absolute truth is one without a second. This Srimad Bhagavatam designates the absolute truth, or the summum bonum, as the Param Satyam. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vyasadeva, first offers his respectful obeisances unto the Param Satyam, absolute truth, and because the Param Satyam is the ultimate source of all energies, the Param Satyam is the Supreme Person. The gods or the controllers are undoubtedly persons, but the Param Satyam, from whom the gods derive powers of control, is the Supreme Person. The Sanskrit word Ishvara, controller, conveys the import of God, but the Supreme Person is called the Parameshvara, or the Supreme Ishvara. The Supreme Person, or Parameshvara, is the Supreme Conscious Personality, and because he does not derive any power from any other source, he is supremely independent. In the Vedic literatures, Brahma is described as the supreme god, or the head of all other gods like Indra, Chandra and Varuna, but the Srimad Bhagavatam confirms that even Brahma is not independent as far as his power and knowledge are concerned. He received knowledge in the form of the Vedas from the Supreme Person who resides within the heart of every living being. The Supreme Personality knows everything directly and indirectly. Individual infinitesimal persons who are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality may know directly and indirectly everything about their bodies or external features, but the Supreme Personality knows everything about both his external and internal features. The words Janmadi Asya suggest that the source of all production, maintenance, or destruction is the same Supreme Conscious Person. Even in our present experience, we can know that nothing is generated from inert matter, but inert matter can be generated from the living entity. For instance, by contact with the living entity, the material body develops into a working machine. Men with a poor fund of knowledge mistake the bodily machinery to be the living being, but the fact is that the living being is the basis of the bodily machine. The bodily machine is useless as soon as the living spark is away from it. Similarly, the original source of all material energy is the Supreme Person. This fact is expressed in all the Vedic literatures, and all the exponents of spiritual science have accepted this truth. The living force is called Brahman, and one of the greatest acharyas, teachers, namely Sripad Shankaracharya, has preached that Brahman is substance whereas the cosmic world is category. The original source of all energies is the living force, and he is logically accepted as the Supreme Person. He is therefore conscious of everything past, present, and future, and also of each and every corner of his manifestations, both material and spiritual. An imperfect living being does not even know what is happening within his own personal body. Interesting, isn't it? He eats his food but does not know how this food is transformed into energy or how it sustains his body. When a living being is perfect, he is aware of everything that happens, and since the Supreme Person is all perfect, it is quite natural that he knows everything in all detail. Consequently, the perfect personality is addressed in the Srimad Bhagavatam as Vasudeva, or one who lives everywhere in full consciousness and in full possession of his complete energy. All of this is clearly explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the reader has ample opportunity to study this critically. In the modern age, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached the Srimad Bhagavatam by practical demonstration. It is easier to penetrate into the topics of the Srimad Bhagavatam through the medium of Sri Chaitanya's causeless mercy. Therefore, a short sketch of his life and percepts is inserted herein to help the reader understand the real merit of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is imperative that one learn the Srimad Bhagavatam from the person Bhagavatam. The person Bhagavatam is one whose very life is Srimad Bhagavatam in practice. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the absolute personality of Godhead, he is both Bhagavan and Bhagavatam in person and in sound. Therefore, his process of approaching the Srimad Bhagavatam is practical for all people of the world. It was his wish that the Srimad Bhagavatam be preached in every nook and corner of the world by those who happened to take birth in India. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the science of Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, of whom we have preliminary information from the text of the Bhagavad-gita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that anyone, regardless of what he is, who is well versed in the science of Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-gita, can become an authorized preacher or perceptor in the science of Krishna. There is a need for the science of Krishna in human society for the good of all suffering humanity of the world, and we simply request the leaders of all nations to pick up the science of Krishna for their own good, for the good of society and for the good of all the world's people. A short sketch of the life and teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the preacher of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great apostle of love of God and the father of the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, advented himself at Sridham, Mayapur, a quarter in the city of Navadvipa in Bengal, on the Falguni Purnima evening in the year 1407. Shakabda corresponding to February 1486 by the Christian calendar. His father, Sri Jagannath Mishra, a learned Brahmana from the district of Sylhet, came to Navadvipa as a student because at that time Navadvipa was considered to be the center of education and culture. He domiciled on the banks of the Ganges after marrying Srimati Sachi Devi, a daughter of Srila Nilambara Chakravarti, the great learned scholar of Navadvipa. Jagannath Mishra had a number of daughters by his wife, Srimati Sachi Devi, and most of them expired at an early age. Two surviving sons, Sri Vishwarupa and Vishwambhara, became at last the object of their parental affection. The 10th and youngest son, who was named Vishwambhara, later became known as Nimai Pandita, and then after accepting the renounced order of life, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his transcendental activities for 48 years and then disappeared in the year 1455 Shakabda at Puri. For his first 24 years, he remained at Navadvip as a student and householder. His first wife was Srimati Lakshmi Priya, who died at an early age when the Lord was away from home. When he returned from East Bengal, he was requested by his mother to accept a second wife, and he agreed. His second wife was Srimati Vishnupriya Devi, who bore the separation of the Lord throughout her life because the Lord took the order of sannyasa at the age of 24 when Srimati Vishnupriya was barely 16 years old. After taking sannyasa, the Lord made his headquarters at Jagannath Puri due to the request of his mother, Srimati Sachi Devi. The Lord remained for 24 years at Puri. For 6 years of this time, he travelled continuously all over India and especially throughout southern India, preaching the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya not only preached the Srimad Bhagavatam but propagated the teachings of the Bhagavad-gita as well in the most practical way. In the Bhagavad-gita, Lord Shri Krishna is depicted as the absolute personality of Godhead, and his last teachings in that great book of transcendental knowledge instruct that one should give up all the modes of religious activities and accept him, Lord Shri Krishna, as the only worshipable Lord. The Lord then assured that all his devotees would be protected from all sorts of sinful acts and that for them there would be no cause for anxiety. Unfortunately, despite Lord Shri Krishna's direct order and the teachings of the Bhagavad-gita, less intelligent people misunderstand him to be nothing but a great historical personality, and thus they cannot accept him as the original personality of Godhead. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge are misled by many non-devotees. Thus the teachings of the Bhagavad-gita were misinterpreted even by great scholars. After the disappearance of Lord Shri Krishna, there were hundreds of commentaries. We will continue the reading tomorrow, but I want to share with you in this video some of the pictures that I am having the advantage of seeing. So this is the picture of the author, Sri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. This is Srila Prabhupada's Guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and this is Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who is his Guru's Guru, and then this is Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who was Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's father and also Guru. these are the Panchatatvas, the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, about whom we are reading now, along with his associates. And these are some pictures which are talking about what I should just read. I don't think I want to translate. So this is called Plate 1, and it says, simply by cleansing the bird cage, one does not satisfy the bird. Similarly, without knowing the need of the dormant soul, one cannot be happy simply by gratifying the body and mind. Wow. So it is actually asking all of us to really look at our soul and not just our body, with which most of us have identified ourselves. The next picture here, Plate 2. I'm reading about this picture now. For the creation, maintenance and destruction of the material world, the Supreme Lord accepts the three forms of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva respectively. Brahma is the deity of passion, Vishnu of goddess and Shiva of ignorance. So let's look at the picture. So, as most of you know, at least in India, this is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Okay. The next picture, Plate 3, Lord Krishna and his elder brother Balarama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his immediate expansion, appeared on earth as the 19th and 20th incarnations of the Lord. Just have a look. Beautiful picture, isn't it? The next picture, Plate 4, the sun like Srimad Bhagavatam can bring enlightenment to those who are immersed in the darkness of ignorance produced by the age of Kali. So, we are all sucked in a world of darkness, and Srimad Bhagavatam can actually provide us that light that we so badly need. Plate 5, Narada Muni, a liberated spaceman, travels throughout the material and spiritual worlds, singing the glories of the Lord and delivering the fallen souls. Wow. Beautiful picture of Narada Muni. Plate 6, as Queen Kunti offered her heartfelt prayers to Lord Krishna just before his departure for Dwaraka, the Lord mildly smiled out of compassion. So we will relook at these pictures when we read that respective page from which the quotes are. Plate 7, at the close of the battle of Kurukshetra, Bhishma Deva, the valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, lay mortally wounded on a bed of arrows. All the great personalities present, including Lord Krishna, assembled to offer respects. Yes, this happened in the great war of Mahabharat at Kurukshetra. And as I said, we'll come back to these pictures as we read more about these. Plate 8, Lord Krishna was the cynosure of all eyes at the magnificent Rajasuya sacrifice held by Maharaj Yudhishthir after the battle of Kurukshetra. Here you see that. Plate 9, King Dhritarashtra burned his body to ashes in a fire he himself generated through mystic power. Wow. Then his chaste wife Gandhari entered the fire with rapt attention. Wow. These are kind of hard to even imagine, isn't it? Powerful people. Wow. Plate 10, as Yudhishthir and Bhishma waited for Arjuna to return from Dwarka, they witnessed many evil omens which indicated the disappearance of Lord Krishna and the advent of the age of Kali. Wow. Quite a complex picture. Interesting. And the last one, Rate 11, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the invincible military strength of the Kauravas was like a great ocean, but because of Krishna's friendship, Arjuna, seated on his chariot, was able to cross over it. From the, famous war, Mahabharata. So this is it for today. Friends, I know I've exceeded my 15 minutes, but I did spend a little time in the introduction and I did show a lot of pictures in the end. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I will keep posting every day for 15 minutes. That will help me keep up my promise to read and benefit from this amazing reading. And I really request all of you to join me in this reading and get the benefit. Please don't miss it, and encourage me by letting me know that you are listening to this, viewing this, and you're liking it. Any suggestions to make it better is always welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.